everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Sonia KE. If you're here one more time, honestly, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for the support, for subscribing, for even taking your time to listen to me. And I just want to say a big thank you. Thank you to the returning subscribers and to the new ones. And to the new ones, this is a channel of good vibes and just happy people sharing and going together. Well, today I have a new topic that I want to share, but as usual I try to make it as personal as possible so that I share things that I've gone through or things that are practical and things that you can learn from as you continue to do great out there. Well, my sharing today, before I share, kindly please remember to subscribe, remember to share, like, comment, interact with me on social media. My name is in social media in most of the platforms is Sonia Odek. If you can, just drop me an inbox on my Facebook, on my Twitter, on my Instagram, and I'll be able to respond. At least we get to learn more about one another and see how best to continue this channel together. Today I would like to share about my failed attempts at business. I've tried so many businesses that fail terribly, so we're gonna sit here and laugh at my fails. Well, for the sake of somebody else who's starting, so that you can do a few things differently and maybe, don't make the same mistakes like I did. So number one in my list of failed attempts, and I remember I did this because of some haste that was there. Well, which year was it? Around maybe 2015, 2016, there was this craze about rabbits. So I took two rabbits. I bought two rabbits, which are pretty expensive. At that point I was still in school, I didn't have enough money. I bought rabbits, and I even went ahead and built a nice structure. I was living in a flat. The flat in Kenya is like the others, but I was on the ground floor, and it was just a residential area. So I put this structure, instructed my fundi mason to build for me a nice structure that was going to fit outside just behind where I was living. I put in two or three rabbits. I brought dry grass and put in there, and I tried to raise these rabbits so that they can reproduce and bring me more rabbits. And it was a failed attempt because, number one, I was doing this because everybody was doing it. It was the in thing, and people who are doing rabbits kept on saying how profitable it is. So why not jump on the bandwagon and just run with it, yeah? So I put in there. So I kept on feeding these rabbits every day. I tried to look for feeds, even like go to places where they do vegetables and pick the remains and take to them. And I just tried my best. But let me tell you what I didn't like about it. My God, those things used to pee. A lot of pee. And then when they dry, it gets white. And remember, it's a residential area and it's smelling now. And you're irritating other people who are also sharing the same space with you. It was just terrible. So I ended up selling my two rabbits to a friend of mine who bought them it was pretty much a loss for me because I didn't make anything from it after trying to rear them for maybe like 3 months. And then I had to also sell the structure that I put in so much money to make at a loss because nobody wanted it as a house, so they had to take it in a way that would work for them, like firewood or something. So I sold it to the person who was cooking mandazis out there. It was terrible for me because I was hoping that it would work, but you see, it didn't work. So maybe if you analyze why it didn't work, there's so many reasons why it didn't work. But I'll share the reasons why it didn't work later within the video. Number two of my failed attempts and that I would like to share is food business. So again, in my life, in my past, I'm a good cook. I love cooking, and I would like to make it a business. So I decided to buy containers and buy all this food, and I started cooking and packing. I know if you're in Nairobi, you know those foods that are packed nicely and then you go and sell at lunchtime, or you just get your people to sell for you. So at that point, I think I was on leave, so I was able to do it myself. It was pretty much okay because I'd do like ugali omena, I'd do things like pilau, I'd do things like rice beans, rice dengu, chapo beans, things just nice simple meals which were really nice, sweet and well done, and I did it from my heart. So it was pretty much, you feel like you're eating home food, very well cooked, very well packed. But on the business side, I was hurting because for me to sustain this business, it means that I would wake up very early in the morning. Wake up early, start cooking. If it's beans, you boil it earlier, so you have to buy, be it if you decide to boil using pressure cooker, but you still have to use like maybe maca, charcoal, or do you have to use, you know, it was just the process of making it. It was very expensive making chapatis because of the oil, the oil you have to use, yani making it was pretty much intense in terms of the nutrients that I have to use. And then the other thing was buying the containers and buying the spoons and all. I bought plastic spoons. Sometimes I used to buy plastic plates. I felt that buying the disposable plates and spoons were pretty expensive for me, so I went for the relatively lasting containers that I give people and pick up in the evening. But let me tell you why this failed terribly. My clientele, or the people that I would sell to, or I was selling to at that time, most of them, because you start with your friends and relatives and people around you that you hope are going to support your business, which they used to. The only problem is that maybe like in town, I'd get one person on one end of town and the other person on the other end of town, and they're scattered everywhere. So you arrive maybe at around 11 and you start distributing the food this side, that side. And then most of the people I was selling to are in Upper Hill. If you're in Nairobi, I hope you know Upper Hill. Upper Hill is the place where our offices were at that point. I had agreed with the guy, the owner. There's a place where they sell food within the building where I was working. So I'd agreed with these people to allow me to be selling food at that place. There was an agreement on an amount I was supposed to pay per week, which was extremely exorbitant, if you ask me. It was too high for me. And then so I would sell there. The other thing is that the target group for the place where I was selling was can I say people who had just finished maybe school, or some were still in school, and they'd come and buy the food on credit, and maybe now following up for someone to pay 100 shillings is a hectic deal. And then they'd go with the containers and not bring them back. I'm just like, it was too much. At the end of the day, I wasn't making any profits. I had used too much money to buy the containers. I had used too much money to buy the initial food, because I went ahead and invested. Like rice, I went and bought 50 kg rice. And then chapati, had bought the whole pack of unga for chapatis. I had just gone away out of myself to just make sure that this business worked. I invested a lot on it, but I feel like sustaining it was not easy. The other thing is that when I went back to work, I had to get someone to be helping me with that business. So this person would come in the morning, pick the food, take whatever it needed to be taken, and then sell, and at the end of the day you pay them. It was also not practical for me, because if I'm selling food at 100, 150, how much am I supposed to pay you per day? And the payment was not on commission, the payment was an agreed amount. So regardless of whether she collects or sells up to that price on that day, I was forced to pay them. So most of the time I was paying from my pocket, and she'd come and tell me, oh, today I sold all the food, and I'm happy. Wow, okay, all our maybe 200 or 300 packs are all sold out. But I ask her, where's the money? She tells me, oh, so and so will pay tomorrow, or so and so paid the one they paid yesterday, so they didn't pay today. It was just crazy, yeah. So I feel like I went about it wrongly again. But it's not a bad business, it could bring profit. Now, no business is bad, it's just in the execution. Number 3, my third failed attempt was in fruit vending. Fruit vending was a friend of mine who is very, very good at it, and she does it seamlessly, and I like the way she's trying to introduce me to different types of businesses. And this one I picked so well, and I liked it, and I wanted to run with it. Wait, I put in money in it. My issue is that usually I really work hard to get some money to put into the business initially. So I put in some money, and then she introduced me to a person who was getting the fruits all the way from Makweni to Nairobi. But as I was also trying to research, I also got a different person who was also with him in high school, and he was doing the business. And I remember he used to sell to us these pixies. They're really nice, juicy fruits, nice, beautiful, sweet. I think they're seedless. And there's a season that they're many, and the prices go low, so you can actually get them and come and sell at a profit. So for him, he used to go with a pickup and just fill it up and then come and sell, and it would make profits for him. So for me, I'm trying to coordinate this from Nairobi, talking to those guys who are in the farm, telling them how many sacks I want. So I would take like maybe 3 sacks of the pixies and 2 sacks of maybe like oranges, so that you mix them up. And then there was also tangerines that I would also mix them with. It was very okay. The only problem was that after they picked them up, this guy tells me I need to pay these people who picked. You send money for paying people who picked. You need to send money for motorbikes that picks the fruits after they've been, put together from the farm to the stage where then there was this very nice bus that comes all the way from there. I don't know if it's Makweni, some town inside there, that would leave that place at 3 a.m. in the night. So you agree with the driver, you get the number of the driver, they put for you the sacks of whatever it is that you're buying on the vehicle, and then now you also have to pay for that transport. So you see, I already paid the people at the farm, I've paid the motorbike to bring them to the stage, and now I'm paying a third party to also bring them to Nairobi. So I'd pick them at Cabanas. If you're in Nairobi, you know Cabanas, all the way from Makweni, they bring it and drop for me at Cabanas, to the point that the people around that place already knew. When they saw those sacks of fruits, they know, wow, that girl is coming for them. So again, at Cabanas, I'd go and then maybe get another vehicle, which is like another cost altogether, because now you have to get like a pickup. 5, 6, 7 bags cannot do Uber. Once in a while, when I was taking like 2 sacks, I'd just get an Uber and instruct them to bring. But now you have to get a pickup also from Cabanas to where I'm staying now. That's just cost that you haven't put in there. Now, when you get these fruits, you have to pack them. You have to now start telling your friends about them. Then your friends are all over the place in Nairobi again, dropping. I don't have a car, so you know what? It's matatu in and out, and the fruits are heavy. I can only carry a certain amount. There are some that I can't carry. So for people who are very far, we'd agree with them to share the cost. Maybe I put for you in a motorbike and they drop for you, and you pay a certain amount for the dropping. But I felt like the people that I was dealing with were mostly people I knew, so I felt like it was also going to be costly. It would be even cheaper for them to go and buy in the market instead of doing it my way. So they did it to support me, but ideally it was really not making sense to them. So you see, it's getting hectic already, because if you look at the cost you're going to spend on transport, if I'm getting you fruits worth 1,000 and you're going to pay 500 on Uber, why don't you just go buy them on your next farm? Because at that point it's a season, so these fruits are many. So I have my specific clientele that want it, but you look at it and you think they have better options, and you start thinking maybe not so much. So I did the fruit businesses the first season. Okay, I can't say it was profitable. I can't say it was excited about the business. And again I wasn't prepared for all the challenges that are coming with it. Sometimes you'd get the fruits, some of them have been spoiled or squeezed, because on top of the vehicle, when they're dropping it down, they just throw it there. It was just not nice. Yeah, that was my other failed attempt. It failed terribly because, as you can see, it's not sustainable. My other failed attempt, chicken rearing. I tried chicken rearing. I did it a long distance. These are combined with farming that I also tried to do long distance. When I did farming with a friend of mine who was at Kitale, I told them, you know what, get me a farm, and then I'll try to put some maize there, and then you do everything through this friend of mine. So it got hectic, because sometimes he tell you, the labor is this amount, the next day the labor is that amount, then you agree that maybe the planting will take place today, then he tells you it rained too much, so we didn't finish today, we'll finish tomorrow, and these people you pay per day. And then the distance also, you're not even sure. And now it's time for harvesting came, and you're told the drying didn't do work well, some people stole the maize from the farm. You don't get the money at the end of the day after putting in so much money on farming. On the long distance thing, chicken was also a long distance thing being done by a relative of mine. I wouldn't say it wasn't profitable. My only issue was that the distance. Now you have to keep on asking them how many have matured, how many died today, how many. You're not there to really inspect and make sure that things are working out that this should be. My brother tried pigs rearing, but his issue, I'm sorry to bring him in, but again, it's still a failed attempt because he was so passionate. He's a great farmer, but the pigs didn't work because he didn't have enough money to sustain the feeding. They eat a lot, and the kind of feeds are bought, and when you buy the feeds, tomorrow they're over. I didn't have the money to keep on buying feeds. Of course, after it gets mature, the people who buy them will just come and pick them from home, but it didn't work. I've shared my failed attempts, but now let me share why these things failed and how you proceed, and maybe just things that you need to put into consideration before starting a business so that it can work. Yeah. Number one of the things you need to put into consideration is capital. How much capital are you willing to put into the business you're starting? I think my problem was that I was not taking time to, what is it called, do the initial thinking, research, writing down, and this is the amount of money I need, these are the challenges I'm likely to face, this is how I'm going to counter these challenges, and all that. How much do I need to sustain it? For example, the food business, I needed to put into consideration the amount of money that I'm going to be paying this girl every day as part of the capital, so that I give myself 3 months, 4 months down the line, just paying her, but hoping that the collection is also good enough, and then looking at how long I'm going to take just with this capital. Is it sustainable? That brings me to my number 2, the things that you have to think about when you're starting a business. Businesses are not easy, but I've seen people thrive in business, and I've seen people work through and do something on their side. But again, you have to rethink, how am I doing it? Number 2, the second thing that you need to really think about when you're starting a business is the sustainability. Is this sustainability? I mean, longevity. Can I say that? Like, what do you call it in business? Going concern. Like, is it, my business is supposed to be here tomorrow to do, how many years am I planning to push this business? Is it long enough for the period of time that I want to do it? Sustainability, is it sustainable? Am I willing to pay someone every day until the day my business breaks even? Like, is it sustainable? Is it a business I'm willing to do year in, year out? Because people who make it in business, don't give up after 3 months, don't give up after 2 months, don't give up very easily. So again, you have to think about, if I'm starting this business, am I ready for it? Am I even ready? Am I even mentally ready for it? Am I ready to push until over 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? Will I still be doing the same thing? Will I still be interested in the same thing? That's why the initial reason why you get into the business is very important. You see, I made mistakes because everybody is doing chicken and chicken is working out for them. And I know people who succeeded with chicken. I get into it because they succeeded, My reason for getting in is they succeeded, they made money, so I want to do it. I didn't take my time to analyze, ask questions about the challenges. How did you do it? Did you go to school for it? Did you learn? What do I need to know? The initial research kind of thing. The reason why you get into the business in the first place matters, and let it not be because somebody else is doing it or because somebody else did it. That's a motivation to start, yes, but what else? Take your time to learn, to ask questions, to understand the ins and outs of the business, even on book. It doesn't mean that it's going to make the process easier, but it means that you're mentally ready to take whatever it is that comes. I don't know if I'm making sense. Is it a sustainable business? Number 3 is time. How involving is a business that you want to start? For example, if you're doing things like farming, if you're doing things like that need you to be there, cooking, and selling food, things like that, they need you to be there. How much time do you have in your hands? If you're operating an 8 to 5, for example, you're already employed, and just want a side hustle, no. Think about how much time are you willing to commit to the business, and very consciously, by the way, because you literally have to set aside time for the business. Even if you're doing your 8 to 5, the reason why my friend has succeeded is because for her, every single day when she was working, by 5 p.m. after work, she's on the road selling her fruits every day, and she does it herself if there's nobody else to do it, and she must do it. There's so many times that she cancelled on us because she's going to sell her fruits on the roadside, and I'm thinking that, you see, her commitment to her business, her time, she has set out time in every week I'm going to spend, and she'd close maybe at 10, so I'll do my 6 to 10. or 6 to 9 every day I'll be selling on the roadside. And it was every single day the same spot. People even got to know where she is. How much time and how much commitment are you willing to put into your business? And that brings me to location. If it's online, if you're delivering, you have to be exquisite. You have to be the kind of person, if you're delivering online, people must stress that Sonia has said she'll deliver today, she will deliver today. So you deliver 3-4 times consistently without failing. These people may be well packaged and well branded every time. You have to think about those things. You can't deliver today, tomorrow someone sends you money to deliver, you don't have the fruits. Or you deliver today, tomorrow they send you the money to deliver, the quantity is not the same. You know, that kind of thing. In terms of time or location, if you're doing a physical business, if you sell fruits here today, will I get you there tomorrow? Or you're selling today and tomorrow you're moving, and if you're a moving person, then people have your contacts and they know that you'll be in this location on Wednesday, this location on Thursday, you know, that kind of thing. You cannot be like, for me, today I'm selling in upper food in Upper Hill, tomorrow I'm in Westlands, and the Upper Hill people are calling and you ask them, I'm not there. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So I feel like if you're into business and you're starting it, the initial thought, the way they usually tell us when we're in school, that when you're writing composition, before you start writing, you need to draft from A to Z. Like literally write your composition in your head in short form before you start writing it. Think about your business and write down everything before you start it from A to Z. Like write introduction, body, conclusion, everything before you start the business, so that you get into business having almost gone through the challenges in your head before you go through them. Just do the bit that you need to do so that you don't have these failed attempts of mine, because the failed attempts are expensive. I'll talk about that just in a minute. Profitability and break even, I've talked about that. How long are you going to be selling for you to break even? So if you're putting in 10,000, for example, 20,000, how long are you going to be selling 10, 20,000 for you to get your 10, 20,000 back? Calculate, do your math. Again, the initial one is important. I'll do a video about how to plan your business before you start it from A to Z. What is it that you need to think about? What is it that you need? I'll do that, and I'll make sure I make it very practical so that you have A to Z, maybe like a template of your thought process of things you need to consider before you start a business. But today, my failed attempt, laugh with me, and then think about competition. Wow, competition is key in any business, and I'm not saying competition is bad, but as a startup, think about who are you in this competition with. Even if it's something you're passionate about, it's great for me to be passionate about cooking, and maybe I can cook better than everybody else, but I'm still a startup, and there's people in that business that I also need to think about, what are they doing? What are they cooking? What am I going to do to move people from their business to mine? What am I going to do to make people eat my food and not theirs? You know, competition is key. My mistake, especially with the food business, was that already Upper Hill had very nice, affordable food that people already, of course, they were eating at lunchtime, they're not staying hungry. So when I was getting this, it was just, oh my god, I love cooking, I know how to cook, so I'm going to cook for people and sell and make money. My god. Say fire. I saw fire. Because sometimes the food would come, nobody has bought. Why? By the time the food was arriving, it was cold. Yet when they go outside the gate, there's a mom cooking hot food, nicely done hot food there. I did not think about all that. I did not do the initial thinking process and just outline my pros and cons and weigh out if I even want to get into that business to start with. So having said that, failed attempts are expensive, because honestly, some of these things I had shared earlier about working in debts and all this, I got into them because of these businesses that I was, I was trying, picking, and just throwing money in it, and hoping that it's going to work the way it has worked for my friend, my other friend. I'm just like, it's gonna work. It worked for so and so. And it's really drained me. It has drained me financially. It drove me into debt, and getting out is not easy, because getting out means that maybe I need to get now a business that is truly doing good, to be able to pay off the debts that I got in when I was hoping that this business would work. Again, let's laugh at my flaws, but as we laugh at my flaws, let's make an effort to do better. I hope that today's video is also a bit enlightening and maybe good for somebody out there, that they need to rethink their decision to start a business before they start. This goes along to, maybe this is my failed attempt at in my own small way, but it goes to scalability. I don't know if I talked about it, but even if you're doing a big business, or even if you're starting something else, you'll need to think about your capital, you need to think about competition, profitability, scalability, you need to think about the time that it's going to take you to get involved in it before you start. These things apply regardless of the scale of the size of business you're doing. It applies regardless of the nature of business that you choose to do. And trust me, it's very small, simple things that make a difference when it comes to business. Thank you so much for listening to me today. This is Sonia KE, and this channel is just for freedom and for learning, for going together, motivating one another to become better business people and better human beings generally. Thank you for listening to me one more time. Have a wonderful day. For now, bye. Subscribe, share, like, comment. Mwah. See you guys in the next one. Thank you.